Welcome to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic is about financial empowerment, taking control of your money instead of letting it control you. It's about confidence, knowledge, and the ability to make choices that build stability and freedom. But right now, many Canadians are feeling the squeeze. We have rising costs, record debt, and uncertainty about the future, which are leaving families stretched thin. So, what can you do? My guest today is Elizabeth Mulholland, Chief Executive Officer at Prosper Canada, and she's here to tell us that financial empowerment begins with understanding and action turns it into progress. So, Elizabeth, welcome to Empowered. I'm so happy you're here. I've been waiting a long time to have you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I'm delighted to be here today.
So, let's start. Tell us a little bit about Prosper Canada and what it does.
Sure, we're a national charity, and our mission is to drive bold change that's going to help more Canadians to prosper nationwide. And right now, it's a very exciting moment for us in our field. We're launching a national system of free community financial empowerment services across Canada through our Resilient Futures program. And the goal is to enable 1 million low and moderate income Canadians to build their financial stability and well being over the next 4 years and connect them to an additional $2 billion in income that they should be receiving, but they're not.
Amazing.
And yeah, at the same time, we also develop and test financial health innovations to make sure services really are accessible to everybody who needs them, and that they're having the biggest possible impact. And we also work on kind of more upstream, looking at what are those institutional and systemic barriers that are getting in people's way of building their financial well-being. And we work with governments and regulators and financial institutions on providing advice and insights that can help them to make changes that will remove barriers, create more opportunity for people.
A much needed service. So, thank you.
Mhm.
Our topic today is financial empowerment. So, what exactly is financial empowerment and why is it so important for people?
So I think financial empowerment means different things to different people, but in the world that we work in, it means a set of interventions that have been proven over and over to help people with low and moderate incomes to really build their financial stability and well-being. And the types of interventions we're talking about are tailored financial information, education, and counseling that helps people to improve their own financial capability and their confidence, help accessing government benefits and tax credits, because this is a big part of the income that low income people rely on. Also, connecting people to safe and affordable financial products and services. So, trying to build their financial inclusion and connecting them to saving and asset building opportunities, because this is really how we build financial security and build prosperity for the longer term. And finally, consumer protection and education to reduce financial risk for people.
So, what should we be doing to financially empower more Canadians?
Oh, it's a long list, but I'm gonna pick a few favorites. I think we can start by making sure that everyone really has access to safe and affordable financial products and services, because without that, your financial life is not gonna go well. And particularly, we're concerned about people living in rural, remote, indigenous, and low-income communities, because often they lack access to affordable and reliable internet and cellular services. So people aren't able to take advantage of all the options and choice, banking choice, and financial products and services that people can access digitally, and pick the products and services that work best for them. And often, if you're in low income neighborhoods or in these remote or rural communities, indigenous, they don't have a lot of local bank or credit union options. So being able to connect to financial products and services digitally is really critical to giving them consumer choice, and enabling them to connect into the financial mainstream. The second thing that we'd love to see more of is federal and provincial governments really improving the administration of our income programs and the tax system. So it's much easier and less painful and less onerous for people to file their taxes, access the income benefits they're eligible for, get those tax credits that help reduce their expenses. Um, so we're glad to see there's progress being made on this front, but there's a lot more work to do. Thirdly, We'd love to see sustained funding for the community financial help services that we're rolling out across the country. These are supported right now by funding from Employment and Social Development Canada, a major investment, which we're very grateful for, but it's for 4 years.
So,
And we'd also love to see the financial sector co-investing in those services.
all right. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic, financial empowerment, everything you need to know. So, Elizabeth, let's just jump right in. Let's shift
Okay.
to a more personal level. Why are Canadians feeling so financially strapped right now?
Well, I think it all started with the pandemic. And really, what we've seen is a huge jump in the cost of living combined with much higher interest rates since 2020. We see inflation has sort of returned almost to target levels around 2%, but we're still left with much higher base living costs, which are really hard for a lot of households to absorb. And our food and housing costs are still increasing faster than base inflation. So even if we say, oh, great, inflation is only at 2% or 2.2, food and housing costs are going up, have gone up faster than that. And interest rates have come down, but anyone who's had to refinance their mortgage is paying far more than they did a few years ago. And that's a big, big dent in their household budget. So the net result is Canadians are feeling really pinched, having to make economies, and more disturbingly, a growing number still are not saving. They're spending down their savings to make ends meet, or worse, they're actually taking on debt just to pay their basic expenses every month.
So, is there any relief in sight?
Um, Unfortunately, some, but not much for the foreseeable future. So, housing costs are generally kind of cooling slightly across the country, especially in places like Toronto and Vancouver. But the cost of homes is still going up in some regions, like Quebec and Saskatchewan. Rental prices generally are coming down, which is good news for low income people. Gas prices have come down, but they always come down a bit in the winter. They could go up again in the spring. And food prices are really the big ouch, because we're gonna expect to see them go up another 4 to 6% in 2026, and that is a big pain point for a lot of households, especially the ones that are on, smaller budgets. We may see some slight decreases in interest rates late in 2026, but the jury's out. They could just stick where they are. So, not a lot of relief in sight, sadly. So I think we all have to focus on adapting to this new reality and adapting our spending and financial plans accordingly.
So, if you're someone that's looking at your bank statement and all of your unpaid bills, and you're trying to figure out how to make ends meet, what steps can
Yeah.
you take to improve your financial situation?
If you're low income, and for most people are modest income, if you haven't filed your taxes, I'd start right there because the government likely owes you money, which is the good news. Secondly, I'd make a list of all your debts so you have a clear picture of what you owe and the interest rate on each debt. And then if you have high cost debts, I'd talk to your bank or credit union about consolidating into a single loan that's at a lower interest rate. So you're not paying so much on that debt. I'd look hard at where you're spending money each month. Just spend a month tracking, collect your receipts, look at them, and see if they're discretionary expenses you can cut. Uh, Even people who have very low incomes can sometimes find places where there is some discretionary spending. If you have a lot of streaming apps and online subscriptions, see if you can reduce those. That's my personal foible. Fast food, dining out are common ones. Taking Ubers instead of the bus. Like we spend money for convenience, but sometimes if we plan better, we can cut those. Those can be big expenses. They add up. And then, those of us who have our fast fashion splurges, those are wants, not needs. Those things can really be cut back. Also, phone and internet plans are quite expensive in Canada. So, looking around, shopping around, and seeing if you can get a better plan, and even negotiating with your current provider and saying, I'm thinking of switching. Can you give me a better deal? And also, I look for patterns in your spending. And if you have triggers, emotional triggers, or events, time spent, things that make you spend more money, figure out what they are and find ways to offset that. And then build your monthly budget and your spending plan and use any money you're saving to pay down your debts and even to build up a small emergency fund so you don't need to borrow money. And if you still can't make ends meet, think about bigger changes. You may need to downsize where you're living, sell the car and start taking transit, look for a different job, or take on more paid work. And if you need help with all that, it can be overwhelming to some people. If you're low or modest income, look for a Resilient Futures community financial help provider in your region, and they'll provide you with free financial help. And if you somebody with middle or higher income, you may want to talk to a financial advisor or planner to
Okay,
get
so
some help
that's a
with that.
lot. That's a lot to
Yeah,
undertake right now. So please don't go
it is.
away. We'll be right back with more financial empowerment tips to help you go through
Mhm.
2026. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic, financial empowerment, everything you need to know. So, Elizabeth, let's just jump right back in again. What about people who are notionally doing okay? They can pay their monthly bills, but just that.
Yeah, that's a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
I think the real issue for them is they're one little life surprise away from suddenly being in a very bad situation. So they're vulnerable if they have an unexpected expense, the washer breaks, the roof leaks, the car breaks down, or if there's an income shock, like suddenly they get less shifts at work or they lose their job. So they really need to focus on building up an emergency savings fund. And that can be hard, but even as much as $500 in the bank of extra cushion can really save you in a lot of situations. So the important thing is just to get started saving, put even a modest away amount out of each paycheck, and start to build up that fund. And I think if all of us, if we look hard in our budgets, can find a little bit of discretionary room where we can squeeze for a bit, and tuck us away some money, and build up that fund. Uh, Ideally, you wanna get to having 3 months of, money to cover your essential expenses, but, the Federal Reserve in the US looked at this and they said $1,200 in an emergency savings account will prevent most middle income and families with lower incomes below that from experiencing financial hardship. So, most of us can get to $1,200 if we save a bit every month.
I think this is really important. And this is why I started my $5 per day savings challenge. And I do it
Mhm,
every day in the month of November during Financial Literacy
mhm.
Month. And if you save $5 per day by the end of the month, you've saved $150. If you do it for an entire year, it's $1,825, which means you've got a really good cushion just in
Yeah,
case something really, really bad happens. I want to
yeah.
move on to a lot of people that have probably overspent, whether, it's a depression, they bought something to help them feel better, or overspending over the holidays, but now they need to get back on track. How do they do that?
Mhm. Yeah, well, the good news, January is a great time to turn over a new leaf and start to build great financial habits. So, the budget is really the best way to take control of that spending and then to think about how you're going to start paying down any debts that you took on that you want to offload so you can start the year in good shape. So, um, you know, building a budget's very simple. You look at how you spend your money, you look at your core expenses. What do you absolutely need to spend money on? You identify how much, you set those amounts aside in your budget. Then you look at what's left in your income and you start to think about your discretionary expenses and your debts. And then make a plan, put a target date on it to pay down your debt, figure out how much you can pay off out of every paycheck towards those debts, track it, and celebrate your success every time you make a payment. You're building a great habit, you're making progress on your plans, and you're building a better financial future for yourself. I did that for 3 years. I had a lot of debt one year. And when I started this job, I had to clean up my act, and, I tracked every paycheck, and I could tell you it was one of the most satisfying things I ever did, and I paid down quite a bit of debt, in a year and a half. So, you can do it. So track your progress, celebrate your success, and life happens. There's gonna be a month when you can't pay what you hope to pay, or you can't pay against it at all. That's okay. The important thing is just get back in the saddle and get back on track, and stick at it.
And I love the fact that you said, you know what? It's okay. just get
It's
back in the
okay. It
saddle
happens to all of us.
and focus because it happens to everyone. I want to talk about something that kind of bothers me. It's more and more people are starting to encounter payday loans.
Yeah,
Sorry, buy now, pay later, not payday loans,
yeah,
excuse me. Buy now, pay later. And you've got the buy now, pay later plans when you shop online and or in person, and say, you can instead of paying the lump sum amount for it, you've got four different pay schedules to pay this. A lot of people rely on this, but a lot of people don't understand that if you don't pay everything off first, second, third, fourth installment, it's not a very useful tool to help you get through.
no.
When we come back from this commercial break, I really want to sit and focus on buy now, pay later, good, the bad, the ugly, because a lot of people are relying on it right now, not only to buy a pair of shoes or whatever, but for their groceries as well. And you can
Yeah.
get into deep trouble if you start using them and you don't use them properly. So please don't go away. We'll be right back when we talk about
Great.
buy now, pay later. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic, financial empowerment, everything you need to know. And I'm joined by Elizabeth Mulholland. She's the Chief Executive Officer at Prosper Canada. So before we went to break, we were talking about buy now, pay later. More and more people were encountering buy now, pay later plans when we shop online or in person. Are these plans a useful tool or just another way to get us to spend money that we shouldn't? Because they can get you into trouble.
Yeah, they sure can. I think the first thing people need to realize is buy now, pay later plans are designed to get consumers to spend more money than they would have otherwise, and they really work, which is why merchants offer them. So consumers should really use them with caution. Buy now, pay later plans are your friend if you're looking for a way to spread the cost of a large, lumpy planned purchase, like you're buying new furniture or a household appliance. It's a way to spread the cost over 3 to 4 months, so it could be more manageably integrated into your budget without having to pay additional interest costs that you would pay if you put it on a credit card or something. So that is one instance where it can be your friend if you're careful about how you use it and you for planned purchases that are needs, not wants. Buy now, pay later is not your friend if you use it for impulse purchases and if you use it to expand your ability to satisfy your wants rather than your needs. And there are a bunch of reasons why they're not your friend. They're really easy to lose track of when you have a few of them going at once and they all have different payment dates. So you quickly end up owing more money than you can comfortably manage because we all conveniently forget about all these times we tick the box and sign up for that. And you're also more likely to miss payment deadlines because it's not like your credit card statement that comes at the same time every month. You've now got payment deadlines sprinkled across the month. You're also frequently opening and closing credit accounts. Each one of these is a credit account. And when you do that over the course of a year, it lowers your credit score. So you could pay everything back on time in full and stick to it and observe it perfectly. It would still lower your credit score. It's going to damage
Interesting.
you. Um, so it's not a great idea to be taking out a bunch of these. And of course, if you miss a payment, it's going to trigger interest costs and penalty fees. Also, some buy now, pay later plans are not free. They actually have upfront fees attached to them, in particular for things like concert tickets, festivals, events. They often have fees of $40 or $50 just for using this plan. So if you are somebody on a budget who has to be careful with your money, you don't want to be paying that extra money. That's
Right.
crazy. So always read the fine print before you use a buy now, pay later, and use these plans really sparingly and wisely. And really, they should only be used to fund these large, lumpy need purchases, not for your wants and your impulse buys. It's not a good idea.
Wow, good. Thank you for explaining that to us. I had no idea that they did have that charge in front of them. And yes, always read the fine print. As we're coming to a close, and I can't believe that this show is ending so quickly, if people want to learn more about how to improve their finances more generally and feel better about their money situation, where can they go?
Well, we actually offer a lot of free online financial education tools and resources, and these are all super plain language. They're in English and French, and they're really tailored for people with low, modest incomes. But people who have middle incomes could still find them very useful, I think. So you can find them all at yourtrove.org. This is our financial self help website. And you'll find simple and easy ways to take charge of your spending, make the most of your money, learn about tax filing and benefits, which are really important if you're lower or modest income, and how to tackle debt. And we also offer a benefits wayfinder, which is a super easy to use online tool that can help you to quickly identify any income benefits or tax credits that the federal or provincial government offers that can help you boost your income or reduce your expenses if you're a household with an income that's sort of low, modest, under $50,000. And if you need help tax filing or applying for government benefits, the Benefits Wayfinder has a directory of free community financial help providers who can help you with that. Or you can visit our Resilient Futures page on our website, and there's a longer list of community financial help providers who offer free services by province that you can search and find the contact information you need. So,
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
okay, thank you.
I'm Elizabeth Naumovski, and I'm here to empower you and make frugality fashionable. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.